Hello, Market Watcher. I'm David Ravel, and this is Value Side for Friday, June 25. Today, income, the far side of stimulus. Then the latest corporate results, as well as today's economic news, coming right up. Well, it was the largest gift in history, an outright transfer of cash from our government to our taxpayers. And literally, there has never been anything like it. Today we received the latest report on the personal income of the people of the United States. And you can clearly see the big hits of cash coming into the collective bank accounts of our citizens. In January of this year, a whopping $1.9 trillion were added to our collective incomes. And March doubled that with another $3.9 trillion added. $5.8 trillion. Boy, that will put a spring in our steps. The trouble is, that was then. Now, things don't look quite so bright. The party has ended, and it may take some time to work through the hangover. At least that appears to be the case with these latest income numbers announced just a few minutes ago. Personal income down 2% for the month of May. That's a reduction of over $400 billion from April's numbers and will represent a real hit downstream as shoppers and consumers of goods and services start to tighten the old purse strings. Now we all knew this was going to happen. The gravy train couldn't last forever, but still, the reality is going to hit some people very hard. Those extra funds often went not only for luxuries, but for the necessities of life: rent, food, clothing. It was just what was needed to help them navigate the hard times after their regular jobs and income was cut off. Now, this concept of directly putting money in people's bank accounts was not a new one. Economists had been toying with the idea of direct stimulus payments for some time. You may remember that Ben Bernanke introduced the idea to the general public a generation ago when he proposed the strategy of, quote, dropping money from a helicopter, unquote, to help people through tough times. Now, the term helicopter money has rattled around Wall Street for years, mostly used derisively. I really don't think that many on the street thought we would ever actually drop a couple of $1 trillion into people's laps. But that's just what we did. And here we are. Now begins the real test. Will this helicopter money really help the economy get back on its feet? Will businesses begin to hire again? Jobs be created and services and manufacturing start to work like it was back in 2019? It's an open question. But I would like to believe that we can indeed get this economy working as before the lockdown. The times are returning to normal. In my own state of Pennsylvania, it has been encouraging to see masks set aside and more people out shopping. And it's great to go out to dinner and sit down at a real restaurant. Let's hope and pray that our return to normal can continue. Now, in economic news today, that all-important personal income release showed, as we noted, that personal income did decline by 2% in May. And, as we might expect, personal spending also dropped. It dropped by nearly 1% to come in flat for the month. And then the report that Wall Street is talking about, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. Now, this is the Federal Reserve's favorite measure of inflation. And the good news here for the street is that inflation, at least by this measure, was lower than expected, coming in at just 3.9% instead of the anticipated 4.2%. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but to the street, this means that the Fed may be slower to raise interest rates than previously thought. Now, in earnings reported so far, Paycheck Incorporated, the payroll cashing service, and the used car people CarMax have both reported their results, and they were both in line with Wall Street expectations. And that's Value Side for this Friday, June 25. I'm your host, David Ravel. Please visit our new website, valuesign.com for the latest news, reviews, and today's show notes.